But it is a very smart question, I think, because the role of science in nutrition of our food has been, I think, slightly overlooked. If we look back over the last 50 years in particular, possibly going back 100 or even more than that, science has been hugely involved in the quantity of food, but has it been as involved in the quality of food? It seems to me that it certainly hasn't. The Green Revolution and all the advances there were principally about making sure we had enough, not necessarily making sure it was of the right quality. Now, I'm not going to talk a great deal about the context of this, which are the conditions arising from malnutrition, not as we traditionally associate it, maybe in the developing world, with lack of food and lack of some of those basic ingredients, but as results from obesity, overeating, and poor quality food. And this isn't just a problem here in the UK, it's a problem increasingly in the developing world. In fact, I did some research recently for a program I was pitching called Fat Africa, which was looking at the nutritional standards in Africa. And if you look at the figures there, the number of people who are suffering as a result of eating too much, even in Africa, is far greater than the number of people who are suffering from eating too little, which I think is an extraordinary statistic given our image of that place. Unfortunately, let's face it, getting people to change their consumption behaviour in terms of eating more healthily has been, I think, a limited success at best. And we recently had the story that we need to move from 5 a day to 7 or 10 a day. Well, we're not achieving the base standard, let alone being able to lift that bar any higher. So I'm not sure if track record seems to suggest we can't rely on the market to improve the nutrition of the population, on behaviour to change the nutrition of the population. I don't think we can rely on the market either. I mean, one of the most extraordinary things I find in this world, when you can read the headlines about obesity and poor diet on the newspaper rack at WH Smith's, and then you'll go to the checkout and they'll say, would you like a chocolate bar for a quid with that? Would you like this and that? They're absolutely forcing high sugar and frequently high fat products on you because they know we have, it seems to me, a human built-in weakness. And once again, not my expertise, but Susan Jebb will, I'm sure, be commenting on some of this. And it just seems to me that the market has delivered a sort of not so much a taste bud sensation for the population, but sort of taste bud infantilization, that everything is about sugar and the instant hit. And I know Caroline's got a good statistic about what's happened to apples in recent decades, which I think rather backs that up. So science has been involved in food and certainly the process and the production of food, but a lot of it's been about engineering food, not necessarily with our health in mind, but with those instant hits that kick off our taste buds. Of course, one of the issues that comes out here when you talk about science being involved in farming and the development of foods is genetic modification. And I think whilst it is important, it is by no means the only avenue, the only route to go down. Because there's so much that can be done in terms of science and ingenuity before you get to that level. But I don't think we should dismiss that level. One thing, people often talk about the public resistance to genetic modification. I think that is one issue. I think also there aren't a great deal of products out there yet which could deliver those benefits. But having filmed and worked with the purple tomato, the high antioxidant tomato, I was desperate to eat it, but forbidden from eating it by those at John Innes. I thought it might make me live forever, but they said their research rules forbade anyone from tasting it, which was a shame. But I just wonder about the level of genuine public opposition to these things. Anyway, it's time to begin to introduce our fantastic roster of speakers today, and I really do think we've got the top table here to address these topics, from farming, through science, through knowledge about nutrition, through the supermarkets. We've really got everything sewn up here.